going to call the business meeting of the Westland City Council to order and invite you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led tonight by Councilwoman Sandy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Godwell. Present.
Councilman Hersberg.
Here.
Councilman Hornbuckle.
Here.
Councilman McDermott.
Here.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Here.
Pro Tem Markowski.
Present.
President Hart is absent, excused. There is a quorum.
Thank you. This evening, we have a special presentation from Senator Polehanki and Representative Coleman. I'd like to invite them to our podium.
All right. Thank you so much. I've been to a lot of city and township councils. This is the best dressed council I've seen. That's true. All right, Representative.
Well, thank you, Senator. Everybody, we're very pleased to announce that we have approved our state budget. It is an $82 billion state of Michigan budget. The majority of it goes to things like our schools. We have a big bump for Wayne, Westland, and Livonia schools. Roads, infrastructure, corrections. These are the kinds of things that suck up the majority of our state budget. But we wanted to make sure the city of Westland was well represented in this year's budget. And Senator Polehanki and I have been partners in Lansing, fighting for funding for the city of Westland. And as we move through the budget year, in talking to Chief Stamper, our fire chief, Wayne Westland firefighters and EMTs, city council members, and members of the administration, we determined that the fire department was in need of a lot of funding, and there's a huge cost to the city to get new fire stations built and buy new EMT and firefighting life-saving equipment. So we're very pleased today to announce that we've secured $7 million for the Westland Fire Department, and we're very proud of this. It's one of the largest appropriations the city's gotten in a long time, and we're going to present this check to the mayor and council, and we would like to just offer our excitement, and we're excited about this. So
It's for infrastructure improvements and EMT equipment. So hopefully you can use that for a long time.
I'm sure we'll find ways
I
to.
think this will be a good thing. And ever since I was a member of the city council, you know, public safety has been something near and dear to me. I know it's near and dear to everybody here. So we're just excited to continue to fight for the city. And I would like to present this check to Mayor Landau and the fire chief. I don't know if he's with us. Council President Pro Tem.
Sure, I'll come on down. This is wonderful, thank you.
And 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, Mayor did ask for your sidewalk money. I put in for your sidewalk money. It was in my top 3 asks. I get 5, and I represent Westland, Livonia, Canton, Garden City, and Inkster. But they did not award sidewalk money this time around. I asked for sidewalk money for Garden City as well. They did not get it. So still understand that you need sidewalk money. And one other thing I wanted to add is Superintendent Dingman has been asking for a driver's ed pilot program. And so we were able to secure $250,000 for Wayne Westland Community Schools in a driver's ed pilot program. What will that do? That will offset some of the high costs that are barriers to some kids who want to drive but can't afford the driver's ed. I was a high school English teacher for 20 years, and a lot of these kids weren't driving. I taught mostly seniors. I'm like, why aren't you driving? This was like the highlight of my young life, it's what I waited for. And they would kind of play it off like, it's not important to me. And it just started clicking after a while. That's bravado. It's because they couldn't afford it. So based on this pilot and this study, I hope eventually we can get back to having the schools provide. Anyone remember when your schools provided driver's ed and you didn't have to pay a private company?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the Secretary of State who's very interested, and hopefully we can make that happen at some point. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much. Well, that concludes the portion of our special presentations and announcements. At this time, I'd like to invite the public to make comments on the agenda. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that just interferes with the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers or members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. It is the speaker's option to ask questions at this time, and the person questioned may choose to respond during the speaker's allotment of time. However, the clock will not be stopped once it is started. The clock will continue to run until the speaker is completed or their speaking time exhausted, whichever is first. And I'll remind you that these are comments on the agenda. Is there anyone on my right? Seeing none, is there anyone on my left? Okay, I know we've got a real big agenda to make lots of comments about this evening. Anyone? Third call. Emily? Wonderful.
So I think it's on new business, one, approval of the regular meeting held on the 19th. I want to clarify a couple things, and I wrote it down, hopefully I can get it. I'll say it right. I just want to clarify a few things. There was mentioning about raises being tied, council raises being tied to administration and things like that. And I guess I would like to have some clarification on that and what that means, because there were different numbers put out, like 20% and different things about the raises and how it's tied and how council's not getting it. And I guess I just want to hear some more clarification on what's happening and how that and how long, like when that will take effect, or how that, because there's a lot, for me, there's just the connection of all that. I was wondering if we could talk about that. And then, as I understand, there were the omnibus bills that were passed in Lansing recently with a very large budget that we just actually heard about too. And I know that there was, I want to know all the things that Westland asked for from that. We heard some. So I guess I'm curious what other things Westland has asked for out of that. What were the things that we were looking for to get help with that? Because was it just the sidewalks, all these different things? So I just want to make sure that, keeping tabs on what we're asking the money for, at the same time making sure, obviously, we're staying accountable to, what we're spending it on as well, with all the just got $7 million. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Get to my timer. All right, are there any other citizens wishing to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent calendar. Okay, I have a motion from Councilman Hersberg and support from Councilwoman Sampe. Okay, consent agenda items are not open for discussion, so we will do a vote. Let's do roll call.
On the one consent calendar item, Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Pro Tem Markowski.
Yes.
President Hart is absent, excused, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, clerk.
So, council has approved the following consent calendar item. Approval of request from Famous Dave's 36601 Warren Road for a temporary event permit to host an all-star barbecue series and 20th anniversary celebration event at their location on July 15, 2023, between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. Moving to payment of vouchers.
Support. Okay, I have A motion by Councilman Hersberg and support by Councilman McDermott. Okay. Do I have any discussion? Do I have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, do I have any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, we have a pass unanimous.
New business, item 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held June 19, 2023.
I have a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Hornbuckle. Support. And support from Councilwoman Sampe. Okay. We had a question during citizen comments in regards to how the council pay is tied into items that were discussed at that meeting. It doesn't appear that we have our finance department in attendance this evening. Mayor's office, would you like to take that?
Thank you, Council Pro Tem. Ms. Bowman, if you could just email the specifics of what you're looking for, because our office may not have exactly what the city council gets as opposed to what you're asking for, so that way it can be get you specific answers to the questions you're answering. Thank you.
All right. So we will go for a roll call vote.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg. Yes. Councilman Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Pro Tem Murkowski.
Abstain due to absence.
And President Hart is absent excused. Motion passes.
Thank you.
New business. Item 2, approval of minutes of the closed study session held June 19, 2023 at 6 p.m.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilwoman Sampe and support by Councilman Hersberg.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Pro Tem Murkowski.
Abstain due to absence.
And President Hart is absent excused. Motion passes. New business. Item 3, approval of minutes of the study session held June 19, 2023 at 5:30 p.m.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Sampe and support by Councilman Hersberg. Roll call.
You could take discussion.
Oh, I can take discussion
On
on
that
this?
one.
Oh, on this one, because it's a study session, or is it minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone want to discuss the study session minutes? Okay. Roll
All
call,
right.
please.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg. Yes. Councilman Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Pro Tem Murkowski.
Abstain due to absence.
And Councilman Hart is absent excused. Motion passes.
Okay. Are you sure there's nothing else? Okay. At this time, we are going to open the floor to the public for public comment. Again, we just ask that anyone speaking before the council do so in a civil manner. For the sake of timeliness and repetitiveness, I'm not going to repeat the entire paragraph. You will have 3 minutes to talk. If you ask questions and the person questioned expects to respond to you, the clock will continue running, and again, that's 3 minutes. Anyone on my right? Okay, we'll start with Emily.
Good evening and happy 4th. I'm Emily Bauman, Westland resident and City Council candidate. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to see the movie Sound of Freedom. If you have not heard about this movie, it is based on the true story of Tim Ballard, a former federal Homeland Security employee who spent 10 years capturing pedophiles. Until one day, the question arose as to how many children he had actually rescued from being trafficked, and the answer was none. Since then, he has spent his time, money, and other resources rescuing over 200 children around the world from being trafficked, which is actually the gentle way of saying sold into slavery for forced labor and sexual acts. As he mentioned, as Jim Caviezel mentioned, this is an uncomfortable topic. People don't want to talk about it, and they were hoping that this movie would create more conversation so that we can actually do something and not ride the fence. While the movie was done very well and protects all of us from actually seeing the heinous truth, we were left with a thorough understanding of the horrific acts that are being done to these children, stolen from the safety of their homes. After the movie, they showed the startling statistics. Over 40 million people are trafficked around the world today, of which 25% are children. Human trafficking is a $150 billion per year enterprise. I hate to use the word business. It has surpassed illegal gun trading, arms trading, and is more than all the sports organizations combined. Children are the ones mostly used for sex slavery because they can be taken young, sold multiple times per day, and for about 10 years. And the United States is one of the top destinations for human trafficking and among the largest consumers, right here in the land of the free. I am sharing this because I want to encourage people to see this movie. This is not a faraway event. This is happening in our own backyards. I've heard stories from Birmingham and other areas where there's trafficking going on. We may not be able to be Tim Ballard and run around the world rescuing children, but as adults, parents, and civil servants, we can do our part to protect our children at home, whether it is TV, social media, the books that they see, education, or even how we spend money. We must be protecting our money. They are our future. Once any one of us gets to be about 30, if we are not looking forward to the next 2 to 3 generations and how we're protecting them, then what are we doing? Building safe communities starts in the home, and by having responsible local governments is definitely one of those ways. As a leadership and business coach, I advise businesses on strategic planning, including fiscal responsibility. And that's one of the reasons why I actually spoke earlier about fiscal responsibility, make sure we're responsible so that our city is doing the things it needs to do to have the safety and security for our families and children to thrive. Thank you. And go see that movie, please. Keep it in the theaters.
Thank you. All right. And do I have anyone on my left that would like to speak? Okay. We'll go back to my, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ali Awadi, Westland resident, candidate for Westland mayor. Approximately 3 weeks ago, we had some issues with our signs. We had some signs, me and several candidates had some signs on the marquee for Glass House Hookah, located on Ann Arbor Trail in Middlebelt. A week after that, I drove by and I noticed the signs were missing. I personally am friends with the owner, so I texted him. And he said I was told to take them down because a city official told him that it was illegal and he needed a permit for that. I asked him who the city official was. He said Ayub, Mo Ayub. I contacted Mo Ayub, left him a message. Just like 2 years ago when I contacted him on other issues, I didn't get any answers back. I'm curious, I sent an email to the city attorney. I didn't get a response till today. I know Mr. Councilman Hertzberg replied to me, and the city attorney replied back, says he hasn't heard anything. I'm curious to is what are the laws here? Because I'm reading, and I did some research, and I found Reed versus Town of Gilbert in Michigan, and the constitutional laws regarding political signs. And the rules that the city has, almost all of them are unconstitutional. So, is anybody being trained on this? I guess I'm just trying to figure it out. And where's Mo Ayub? How come he never responds? This is the second time I deal with him. I never get a response from him. So, I mean, he must be enjoying his new raise, I guess. I don't know, but I'd like to get a response from somebody because I'm tired of the signs being gone. And I got pictures. I'm filing a bunch of paperwork soon. And I got pictures of all the signs that are there now belonging to interim mayor and Mr. Coleman and everybody else that are actually where mine was when they were taken by the city. I have a problem with that.
Sure.
And I'm not a person that touches other people's signs. Apparently other people are.
Sure.
So I'd just like some answers on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have someone from ordinance reach out to, it's Mr. Awadi?
Yes.
Okay. And can you stay until after the meeting so we can get your contact information so we can have ordinance?
Yeah, you guys have it.
Okay.
Everybody has
Wonderful.
it.
I don't, but wonderful. Sure. Mayor?
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate you coming up and speaking. I don't have the exact date of when the email was sent, but on June, we'll say 27th, 26th, somewhere in that range, our ordinance department did reach out to every single candidate running for public office in the city. It's everybody's obligation to understand our laws and ordinances when you're running for public office in the city. I've been following the laws and ordinances in our city. I intend to continue to do so. I expect anybody else running for public office in our city to understand our laws and ordinances as well.
Okay. Is anyone on my left? And anyone on my right again? So we could, I believe we extend our time to one opportunity to speak.
Is that okay?
I can double check that with our parliamentarian. Just one, okay. Well, I'm sorry, sir, we won't have that opportunity today. Is there anyone else who would like to comment this evening? Okay. Seeing no more comments from the public, we'll move on to comments from the mayor's office.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Great job tonight. Very, very, very busy agenda for you tonight to handle, so I appreciate
That was a
you
big, heavy lift.
coming out tonight. I hope everyone had an enjoyable 4th of July and spent quality time with your family and friends and had a chance to enjoy the beautiful weather out there and our incredible park amenities. If you happen to drive by Central City Park, you would have seen how packed it was. People are really loving the brand-new state-of-the-art Mission to Mars and our splash pad. The Mission to Mars, which is our new universally accessible play structure, is a unique addition to the park and features towering rocket ships, lunar rover slides, and play activities that simulate zero gravity. The out-of-this-world park includes Americans with Disabilities Act compliant surfacing, sensory play elements, and age-inclusive structures, along with space-themed structures. The Play Planet Playscape that was once there is being refurbished and relocated to Lincoln Johnson Field in Westland's historic No-Rain District, giving Westland 2 of the largest play structures in the country. So we're really, really proud of that. You may have also noticed remarkable improvements to the Central City Park Pond. People are stopping by daily to check on the progress and asking me every time they see me out there talking to the workers, when is it opening? So I'll be having an update to City Council first as they allocated the funding very soon on our progress, and I cannot wait to announce the reopening to the public very, very soon. Recently, we celebrated some new business openings or reinvestments in our city, and I really just want to say thank you to our residents as they've really wrapped their arms around these new businesses and supported them. Our social media reach has exploded with exponential growth, and it's large part to the community sharing our posts. These are small business entrepreneurs. Many cases, they're family-owned and operating businesses. They asked me to share their appreciation because some of these posts are receiving, thousands and thousands of unique impressions. So they're very, very happy. Folks are stopping into these new businesses and trying them out. I'm seeing a lot of positive chatter on social media. So I'm just going to mention a few of these exciting businesses that have opened or reinvested. King of Best Sturma is located at 34447 Ford Road. It's a Mediterranean restaurant and bakery. You got to make sure to give them a try and tell the boss the mayor sent you. He'll love to see you. Pizza Cat at 30915 Ann Arbor Trail. They specialize in making pizza weird. Make sure to stop in and order one of the weirdest pizzas you can imagine and tell Brian the mayor sent you as well. They have your normal pepperoni and cheese pizzas, but they want you to order unique items. One lady came in and ordered, I think, a blue cheese sauce instead of pizza sauce and put all kinds of unique items on there, and he thought that was awesome. So make sure to stop in and see them. They are actually really thriving over on Ann Arbor Trail, even with the bridge construction. They are doing really well. Ezra Salon Suites is at 8040 North Middlebelt. What that is, it's a modern and luxurious salon suite for licensed beauty professionals. This has to be one of the most beautiful salons I've ever been to. They provide a number of services, including nails, hair and makeup, facials, massages, and so much more. So be sure to check them out if you're interested in joining them to rent out one of the suites, or if you want to just get some of their services, make sure to go by and, of course, tell them the mayor sent you. Wanaka's Place 2 is a unique African and soul food carryout restaurant that's located at 5818 North Wayne Road, right next to Westland Bowl. They have an extensive menu of African soups, meats, rice dishes, and plenty of side items. They also have a full menu of soul food with all the sides to complete a full meal, so make sure to give them a try. You're going to be very pleased. And, of course, tell them the mayor sent you. Recently, information's been shared on city services that were included and approved in my 3-year balanced budget. My office has received an incredible amount of phone calls from the residents sharing their excitement for each of these programs. We're moving full speed ahead on the sidewalk improvement program. We appreciate the fact that you put in for them, but we did allocate over $1 million annually, the city council did in our budget for that. So any funding we can get from the state would be greatly appreciated. That will begin this summer, the inaugural sidewalk replacement program. This is a new initiative as part of our expansion to our existing neighborhood makeover program, and it's going to be good news for any homeowner, walker, any kids, seniors, or really any Westland resident. This 5-year program is going to put crews in every neighborhood in the city to identify any and all deficient and hazardous sidewalks in each of our neighborhoods, including some of our sidewalk gaps as well. For more information, you can go to the city's website. There's a short video clip detailing this initiative. We've also announced the return of the curbside leaf pickup program coming back this fall. Very, very excited. People are very excited about that. Now for the road work. We have neighborhood projects starting, several road projects beginning in neighborhoods, the area between Avondale Street and Palmer Road from South John Hicks to Hannon Road, St. Joe Drive, Loresse Avenue, South Sideball Street, South Briar Street, Avondale Street, Milton Street, east of Norma, South Norma, excuse me. This project's going to be removing and replacing deficient concrete pavement sections and resealing concrete joints and cracks. This work is obviously weather dependent and is tentatively scheduled for today, July 5th through August 21st, 2023. Road work will also begin on South John Hicks from Palmer Road to Glenwood Road, Palmer Road between North John Hicks and Hannon Road. The contractors will be performing pavement resurfacing project. This project will be milling 2 inches of the existing pavement surface and applying new asphalt. This work is also weather dependent and is tentatively scheduled for July 10th through July 14th, so coming up real soon. The area between Cherry Hill Road and Avondale Street from South Schuman to South Wayne Road. We're gonna have Hyman Street, North and South Rickham Court, North and South Jean Court, South Sutton Drive, Avondale Street from Wayne Road to Wildwood Street, and Avondale Street between Carlson and Dowling Street. Marquette Street from Newburgh Road to Herbert Street, and Norma Street between Avondale Street and Cherry Hill Road. This project will be cleaning existing joints and cracks and resealing them. This work obviously is weather dependent as well and is tentatively scheduled to begin July 17th through August 5th. A couple more here. We've got Henry Ruff Road between Ann Arbor Trail and Louise Court, Hillcrest Boulevard between Ann Arbor Trail and Louise Court, Donna Street between Ann Arbor Trail and Louise Court, Louise Avenue between Donna Street and Carousel Boulevard. This project will be milling 2 inches of the existing pavement surface and applying new asphalt. Another one that's weather dependent and is tentatively scheduled for July 24th through July 28th. Last one, North Hanlon Street between Marquette Ave and School Ave, Sheridan Ave between North Hanlon Street and Byfield Avenue, Roslyn Street between North Hanlon Street and North Byfield Ave, Barton Street between North Hanlon Street and North Byfield Ave. This project will be milling 2 inches of the existing pavement surface, applying new asphalt, weather dependent again, and is tentatively scheduled for July 24th through July 28th. Got an email from somebody from our personnel department. Her son was driving from Alaska back to Michigan, and they ran across the Westland sign in the Yukon Territory in Canada. Pretty cool. It's going to be hard to see. The folks in the audience might be able to see it if you want to come up and take a look after, but it's pretty neat. City of Westland, population 86,100, Westland, Michigan, along with some other signs. But you know what a small world Westland is to have this in some unique places. So very nice that they shared that with our office.
Stolen sign.
What's that?
They stole our sign.
They did steal our sign. Good one. Appreciated the ceremonial check presentation tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing back from the governor's office or either of your offices to by the end of the year when the budget takes effect to see how we can utilize these funding. So I appreciate that tonight. As you can see, there's a lot going on in our city. Please note that my office is always here to serve you. You can call me anytime. Mayor's office is open and ready to serve you. Phone number is 734-467-3200. You can also email at mayor@cityofwestland.com. I appreciate everybody for coming out.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we'll take comments from the city attorney.
Thank you. I don't have any comments tonight. I hope everybody had a good 4th of July holiday.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now we'll have comments from the council members. We'll start this evening with Councilman Gadbow.
Thanks.
There we go.
The Westland Community Foundation's Christmas in July party is on Wednesday, July 26th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Hellenic Cultural Center. Tickets are $75. We're asking that each guest bring a non-perishable food item to support the Westland Salvation Army's food bank. You know, the foundation awarded scholarships this year to several Westland residents, regardless of what school they attended for high school. So a lot of the money that we use, that this fundraiser will pay for scholarships for next year, as well as help the Salvation Army out with their food pantry, and we make a donation, a large donation to the Salvation Army's food bank as a result of this fundraiser as well. So I would encourage you to come out. It's a fun event. The Hellenic gets decorated up like Christmas time, and it's a very nice social event. So for tickets or sponsorship opportunities, you can call 734-495-1200. Okay, I was going to go through the chair to the mayor, but he just left. So,
Is he coming?
do we know, is he coming back, or?
Nature's calling. He'll be back shortly.
What would you like me to do, Councilman? Would
Well,
you?
I had a question
Yeah.
for the mayor, but I know, the meeting's been 30 minutes, so it's, a long time to have to go.
Can we circle back around to that? Do you have any other comments you would like to make?
No, I just had a question to go to the mayor. So if you don't mind circling back, that's fine.
Okay. I think that would be acceptable. Okay. Thank you, Councilman.
Sure.
Now we'll hear from Councilman Hertzberg. And he's going to have the same issue.
Thank you. I'll try to go slow here so we can see if he comes back. I'll start off. I want to thank Senator Polhanke, who represents Westland, as well as State Rep Coleman, for working on that $7 million for the fire station. I think we're going to need to have a study session on that because we did just allocate $2.5 million for one fire station. The city needs 2 new ones. So thank you guys for your hard work on that. And I also want to have a study session to talk about the sidewalk plan, because if we did $1 million a year for 5 years, and the grant we were expecting to get was $2.5 million, that's half the cost. So I do have some questions on if what was included in the budget for that and what we're going to do moving forward. The only other thing I have tonight is there was a question about the council tie bar from last meeting, and I think you'll get a straight answer if you send your email to them, but it is in the charter. And I believe the charter language says that council shall receive 15% of the deputy police chief's salary. So when the deputy police chief gets a raise, so does council. And it's not just tied to council, it's also tied to other positions in the city. But I don't have that full list. We did ask for that during the budget meetings. We didn't get it. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Councilman Gadbow, can we circle back to you?
Sure, thanks. We heard again tonight about the free sidewalk replacement program. So through the chair to the mayor, I'm curious how we can do this when our charter, section 14 in our charter, specifically calls out whose responsibility is for repair and replacement, and it is not the city. It is the owners, as stated in our charter. And I don't remember us changing the charter to say we're going to do this for free. So I'm curious as to how we're able to do this when our charter, I mean, it's clearly different than what's in our charter. You care to respond? I mean, yeah, I asked you a question. How are we doing this?
First of all, why is he getting to speak again, second time?
Well, he's not speaking a second time. We paused the time because he wanted
Oh, okay.
to ask.
So
me
what
a
is
question.
your direct question, Councilman Gadbout?
How are we not in violation of the charter by doing it for free when the charter spells out how it's to be paid for? I would assume with all the videos and mailings you've done, we take an oath to uphold the charter. So I would assume you already know how we're doing this and getting around the charter provision that details out the sidewalk program.
Okay. I don't think,
Ladies and gentlemen, just briefly, he's clearly grandstanding tonight. We've had budget discussions on this at length. This was never brought up during the budget discussion, so I find it highly inappropriate and pretty disrespectful to throw it out there at a council meeting like this. You didn't bring this up at all at the budget study session. You've had 4 months at least to bring this up, whether it be via email, at various council meetings. So the fact that you're bringing it up now, 3 weeks before an election that you're a part of is pretty interesting. So if you want to send in, information through email to us, we'd be happy to get you information. But I find it highly inappropriate and disrespectful that you chose this platform to do this. So thanks.
Can I continue now? The fact is, I did bring up the sidewalk program. I did mention that in the past, it was always paid for by the residents, and I did not vote for the budget for this reason and for several other things that are in the budget that are suspect as to whether they're according to charter or not. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll move on now to Councilman McDermott.
Good evening, everybody. Couple of things here tonight. Number one, I want to start off by thanking our State Representative Kevin Coleman and our State Senator Dana Bohanke for bringing back a good chunk of change, taxpayer money for fire stations here in the city of Westland. I think that's going to help us, potentially free up some of the ARPA money that we already allocated towards the fire stations, both Station 2 and potentially Station 4 as well. So thank you. $7 million is a big win, and we really appreciate that. So thank you to Representative Coleman. Thank you to Senator Bohanke for bringing that. We really appreciate that. Couple of things here. I've had a few residents reach out to me regarding missed compost pickup for priority waste. I hope that we're not getting into a pattern again of missed compost and yard waste pickup from Priority. I've reached out directly to, Paul Ruthenberg, who is one of our points of contact at Priority, but, they came here to City Council and presented us all this technology that they're going to be implementing in this plan to mitigate the issues that we were having last year with them, the bird's eye view camera system, the route monitoring software that they're implementing, all kinds of great things, and we were all very excited and pleased that their corrective action plan. But over the last month, I've had a few folks reaching out to me about that. So I hope this is just a couple of one-off situations that we're not falling back into some of the problems that we faced with Priority last year. Emily, thank you for bringing up that documentary about child trafficking. That's really important. And I even when it's tough subjects to talk about, I love watching documentaries and soaking in new information. So that's something that I'm going to check out. Hopefully it's available on one of the streaming platforms or YouTube somewhere to be able to check that out, but I'll come and find you afterwards to find out where you watched it on. In regards to the sign ordinance, and this is something that I want to, reach out to the city attorney's office about, but it was my understanding that the sign ordinance that council had adopted several years back regarding yard signs specifically was not really enforceable due to people's First Amendment protections. And it was my understanding that ordinance could not come down and tell a private business owner that they had to take their sign down. Now, if I'm wrong on that, I hope somebody corrects me, but it was my understanding that we were unable to enforce the sign ordinance and enforce how long a person could have a yard sign out previous to an election. If I'm wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong. Couple of other things. I hope everybody had a really wonderful 4th of July and Independence Day. I hope you had a good, safe holiday and time spent with your families. One thing I did want to acknowledge, and I think this is really important, and it may be something that many of us, learned in our history class, and I think it's something worth acknowledging, that while we celebrate Independence Day for our nation, Independence Day is not the same for all people, because not all people were granted independence when the Revolutionary War happened. Specifically, Native and Indigenous people were not granted independence, women were not granted independence, and black and brown people brought over from Africa and other countries who were held in bondage and as slaves were most definitely not granted independence. And I think one quote that is, very pressing and important to our history comes from Frederick Douglass in 1852, and he asks about, what to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all their days in the year, the gross injustice and the cruelty to which is the constant victim. To him, Your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty and unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity, your sound of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence, your shout of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons, thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes, which are disgrace a nation of savages. This is not a nation on the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than the people of the United States at this very hour. That comes from Frederick Douglass in 1852, when he asks about what of the slave and what is the slave's 4th of July. So I think it is very important to acknowledge all the history of our country and acknowledge why we also celebrate Juneteenth in this country as well, because Independence Day, while it is a very important day, worthy of celebrating for our nation and all of us, it is also worthy to acknowledge that not everybody was granted their independence on the 4th of July during the Revolutionary War. With that, I will leave you all. I hope that you have a great next 2 weeks. If you need anything from me, you can reach out, as always, at Councilman Mike McDermott on Facebook or directly at 734-890-2146 with call or text on my personal cell phone. Be kind, treat each other with respect, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Councilman. And now we'll hear from Councilwoman Sampe.
Thank you. Good, great job today, too,
Oh, thanks.
on running the meeting. So it's always great to have different voices. So I hope everyone's doing well. Had a great 4th of July. I was at the Tigers game yesterday with my son and nephews, and we had a great day. So if I have a little sunburn, it was hot yesterday, too. I don't know if anyone went out and grilled, spent the time outside with their family, but it was a really nice day. So I just have a few things. I know that the council subcommittee is exploring resources, and I don't know if they consider this, so I'll just kind of throw it out here. So I'm a big proponent of supporting those with disabilities. So I know you've heard me talk about it, maybe you haven't. My brother has autism, and he's low functioning, and we really support the autism community and also with those with disabilities. So going to our parks and stuff, I noticed that there's no bench. There's a couple benches that I found online that those in wheelchairs could go up and enjoy the park as well, too. So that might be something, too, that we consider putting at our parks for those with special needs, that we have some type of bench or seating area that they could just wheel up their wheelchair. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. In terms of the ordinance for signs, excuse me, I was a candidate a couple years ago, obviously, in addition to being on the ballot again. I think we just probably need to figure out some type of response to what that is. Personally, I'm not a big proponent. Kind of looks like a circus with vinyl banners all over different businesses and such. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. If whatever the ordinance is, I'm assuming we'll figure it out. I've been doing a lot of walking as well. The curbside leaf pickup program, there's been a lot of good responses from our residents. The sidewalk program as well, too. I don't believe it was mentioned that there was a concern in the charter issue that got brought up. So personally, I don't believe that it got brought up. I haven't heard that it got brought up until now. So I was a little surprised that it got brought up here at a council meeting. In terms of different things and events that are going on, summer in Westland is so much fun. It really is. So if you haven't been out to the farmers market on Thursdays, we have some great vendors. So every Thursday at the Central City Park over by Tanton Park, you can go from 3 to 7, visit the vendors, support local. They have some pretty awesome stuff over there. So I would really encourage you to go over there and support local and shop local and support these vendors. So a lot of great things going over there. In addition to garage sale weekend, so if anyone is looking to do garage sale this weekend, you can go out there. Permit and fees are waived, and you can host your garage sale this weekend. And I think in terms of events, again, like I stated, Hometown Pets asked me to share this, but they have a big adoption event going on July 15th from 11 to 3, And if you are looking to adopt a dog, they're going to have about 10 dogs in-house on that day. They're going to do some educational events. They're going to have some raffles. So they're selling tickets. It looks like $2 each, 3 for $5. They're going to have some Yeti cups out there. They're going to have some gift certificates and giveaways. So I love adopting dogs, and I know Hometown Pets is a new local business. So if you can go out and support them, they said that they would love to have everyone out there and support them on that day. So again, July 15th from 11 to 3, a really fun event. Donations, if you want to bring donations, they always accept, blankets and dog toys as well too. But they're going to have a really fun event and some raffle prizes if you want to come out. And then I also had Barb Markham at our senior center. She wanted me to mention this. So last week, we only had 2 people at the cardio drumming class, but we're going to do a fun cardio drumming class on Thursdays. It's still going on, so you still can go. It hasn't been closed down yet. 5:30, it's pay-as-you-go, $5 a class, co-ed. It's a great workout. So if you want to do cardio drumming at the Friendship Center, you can come on out at 5:30. Join us. It's going to be a really fun time. I missed it last week, but I would love to see everyone out there. I'm going to be there this Thursday. So, and also I wanted to thank Senator Paul Hankey for mentioning about the driver's ed. Really great that you guys are piloting that, because my son, who's 16, we just paid close to $600 for driver's training over the past year and a half, and it is a big expense for parents that need to invest in their child learning how to drive. It is super expensive. So, and that could be a deterrent for some parents. So I'd be curious to see how Wayne Westland pilots that program, and perhaps other districts may follow too. So we paid for a private driver's ed, and it was pretty costly. So that's great, and thank you again for being here. Of course, obviously for the work that is done in Lansing and bringing $7 million to Westland. I'll definitely be excited to see how we can use that here to support our public safety. Our next meeting will be Monday, July 17th at 7. If any residents has concerns, issues, please reach out to me on my personal Facebook page, Melissa Sampe. You can call me 734-637-2078. Until then, be kind, safe to everyone that you meet, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We'll now hear from Councilman Hornbuckle.
Thank you, I appreciate it. First off, I want to thank you too for securing the $7 million for our city, our families, and our fire department. This is really huge. After last week when we had the air quality, I seen fire trucks and EMSs just running back and forth all day long. So this will definitely help them out, give them what they need, and help our city. So thank you very much for all the hard work you guys did for us. Also, I want to highlight a program that the Westland Police Department is doing, Westland Police Department Neighborhood Safety Program. I attended one at St. Mary's a couple of weeks ago, and they had a really great turnout. A lot of people had, bring up minor concerns, bigger concerns, but it also helped the police department narrow down to where issues are and where they can actually help. I talked to the police chief, and we're looking at possibly doing more other parts of the city as well, so stay tuned for that. Also, I don't have a lot here, but I want to thank everyone for coming out. Remember, today is Wednesday, not Monday. I keep thinking today is Monday. I appreciate you guys coming out and expressing your opinions and your thoughts. Also, I did go by the park, and yes, the park was jam-packed. I had opportunity to go around and talk to people, and I want to say 60% of people are coming from other cities to enjoy our park, which is good, but I also would like to see more of our residents out enjoying the parks as well. Mayor, the only complaint I got was no restrooms. So if we can probably look at getting some porta potties on that side, that'd be great. But it was a great park. A lot of people out there. It was good to see a lot of people out there enjoying our parks.
I think that's all I have. Be safe, be kind to each other, and you can follow me on my Facebook page, Councilman Delano Hornbuckle, where you can find things that's going on in the city and positive messages every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, this was a rather short agenda in July. I hope everybody had an opportunity to enjoy their 4th in whatever capacity you celebrate it. I had the odd holiday where my husband was actually home from fire service, so we got to celebrate as a family, so that was nice. I want to thank Senator Polhanke and Representative Coleman. Absolutely, our community can use $7 million in fire service, and I'm sure between the administration and your council, we'll make sure it goes to good use to keep our citizens safe and to provide accommodations for our firefighters that are necessary. You know, some of these buildings, you know, we've already addressed, we've allocated funds to make those safe and habitable places, especially since they become our cooling and warming centers as well when the weather is inclement. I wanted to point out we have one more event on the 15th, and that's what we just passed on our agenda. And Famous Dave's is celebrating their 20th anniversary here in Westland. The 15th is a wonderful day because it just happens to be my son's birthday as well. So I might be partial to July 15th a little bit. But they're inviting the public to come down, and they're going to have food giveaways and games and prizes and bounce houses. Are you sure this isn't my son's birthday party? Face, right? And I'm like, oh, that could be face painting, snow cones, live music, live radio broadcasts, other entertainment, meet and greets. The Famous Dave is going to be there, as well as some wonderful barbecuers who are going to be taking their chance at being recognized as the grand champion. And Council President Hart's absent this evening, but he and I have a long tradition of running professional barbecue competitions, so we might know a few of those faces, and I'll be interested to see how that fares. So thank you for being part of our community, and happy anniversary. Before we adjourn this meeting this evening, our clerk has asked for a bit of time to speak on some election-relevant news. So clerk, could you please?
Thank you. I'll be brief this evening. I'll expound on my comment during the next city council meeting, which will be the last one public for broadcasting prior to the election. For those Westland registered voters who vote at the Westland Library, precincts 4, 8, and 39, for the August 2023 election only, you'll be voting at the Westland Friendship Center. The reason for that is that, as most of us know, the library is undergoing renovation. They should be complete by September, and that's the reason for the temporary move. All voters in precincts 4, 8, and 39 have been notified via a postcard to their address of record. We will have signage at both locations. At the library saying, hey, head over a mile away to the Friendship Center. We'll also have signage at the Friendship Center saying, thanks for voting here instead of trying to vote at the library. I just wanted to give a heads up during this meeting. Again, I'll have the same message, perhaps a little bit more to share at the next meeting. If you have any questions, please contact our office at 467-3185 or email the clerk's office at clerk@cityofwestland.com. We'd be happy to help you to resolve any questions you may have regarding that or anything else. But we want to make sure that those people that choose to vote in a precinct on Election Day head to the right place. Thank you.
Thank you, clerk. That's great information. And again, if you vote in those precincts that are housed in the library, you are relocated to the Friendship Center, and you should have received a postcard. I just wanted to extend my gratitude to the clerk and the clerk's office with our new election laws. I know they've been working really hard to make sure that everything goes smoothly, and
Thank you.
Yeah, we have you on our thoughts, positive energy towards your office, for sure. With that, I just want to remind you that if you ever are looking for something to do, to visit our website and visit our calendar. Westland is a wonderful place in the summertime. And with that, we will see you July 17th at 7 p.m. And may I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you. Thank you.